Oh boy, Capcom. What the actual fuck? This was amazing. Like the game, everything is perfect. I enjoyed Resident Evil Village so much. You can say whatever you want. Look at my previous video, I told you. Resident Evil Village is gonna be one of the best Resident Evils in the series. I cannot fucking wait for the Resident Evil 9. Like this. Everything is perfect here. Capcom outdid themselves. This time Capcom did the foolest of fools. What the fuck am I even talking about? This game is so amazing and I cannot express my feelings through words because it made me feel it made me feel something. It's definitely something different from classic Resident Evil. They're trying something new. I loved it. So Capcom,
What are you kids doing jacking off in the restricted section? 50 points from Gryffindor!
congratulations. And let's go through all the Resident Evil Village together. Are you ready? So sit back, take your popcorn and enjoy it. Cause this is a long ride. 3 years after escaping the clutches of Evelyn and the Baker family in Dolby, Ethan motherfucking Winters escaped that and survived. Okay, he's now with Mia. They moved together in Europe to start a new life and raise their newborn daughter, Rosemary. Which, you know how they start, everything's perfect. She reads the story. That story was, what the fuck? But okay, she's young. You take her to bed, you get a glass of wine, and bam, Chris Redfield and a team of soldiers raid their home. And what the fuck? Mia takes the first shot like a champ and takes another 30 like a bitch. I mean, she just fell down and but you think, yo, Mia is dead, that's fucking possible. No, it's fuck not. It's Resident Evil. Nobody dies for sure in the first fucking 5 minutes of the game. There's the plot, there's everything. So, they abduct Ethan and the Rosemary. So of course Ethan is fucking retarded and he lost consciousness. And later wakes up next to crashed transport truck. With all the guards dead and that Chris missing, of course, why would Chris be there? Plot twist, boys, plot twist. And then, confused Ethan wanders into a nearby village. And, yeah, of course, he is under attack. I mean, he didn't expect that, he didn't fucking expect that after crashed truck and everybody missing. Especially Chris Redfield, who, does everything, punches boulders, drinks, beats Slavs, he's everything. And he is attacked by who? Aggressive, mutated, wolf-like creature known as Lycans. Ethan helplessly saw, El Grandpa just murdering whole family and burning the whole house, and then what? He gets attacked by a wolf. And of course he survives that. I mean, half of his hand gone. Poor Ethan's hands, I mean, those hands, those hands, you know what they say, they survived a lot. And as he goes, just tries to pull a lever, the motherfucking Carl Heisenberg, sassy as he looks and everything with Siggy in his fucking mouth, he just captures Ethan. Ethan of course goes unconscious.
Bruh.
But you know what they say, you got a plot twist, you gotta meet all the 4 houses of the village. First you wake up being dragged by Carl Heisenberg to a room where in the middle there is Mother Miranda. On the left there's of course Alkina Dimitrescu. Behind her there is Donna Beneviento. Of course on the right there's Carl Heisenberg and the ugly ass motherfucker Salvatore Moreau. He is the ugly ass motherfucker, just look at him. He has some, oh my god, I cannot even say it because he's looking so ugly and so helpless, he's so shit. Heisenberg has the offering from Mother Miranda that he can do whatever he wants with Ethan. So Heisenberg The fool as he is, he plays the game with Ethan Winters. He counts down to 0, and Ethan must escape his enemies. As soon as he was about to be crushed into a salami or something like that, he's being stopped, you know. Ethan Winters survives again. Because, oh, you know why? Plot twist. Plot twist. If you wanna make the story longer and interesting, hide the plot twist. He just have to be alive, you know. And upon escaping, he ventures into Dimitrescu's castle to find Rosemary. But before entering the castle, he meets the Duke, the man, the myth, the legend, the merchant. He is one of the favorite characters in this game. He is so mysterious. He is weird. He's, you know, fat as fuck, but don't judge people, I guess. And he has an interesting attitude, because every time you go near him, he says something definitely weird. He is a weird man, but I think that they are plotting something with him for the next games. After you enter the castle, you meet, you know, daughters of the Lady Dimitrescu. They hung you up. Your hands suffer even more pain. You suffer the entire game. I mean, not you, not Ethan. I mean, Ethan is fine the whole game. But your hands, they don't survive, trust me. Those hands, like there's a Comstock behind your bed 10 years. Those hands has suffered more than that. And then, you know, you just murder one daughter by one daughter in the castle, and then Lady Dimitrescu flips off. She fucking becomes a dragon. Holy moly. Macaroni. Did you expect that? I bet you didn't. She fucking becomes a dragon, and you're like, yo, where are the big titties? Just look at some fucking hentai shit. You just see tentacles and everything. It's not it anymore. Lady Dimitrescu just fell down in my eyes. But that's fine. I mean, I was kinda sad because I was hoping Lady Dimitrescu will be something bigger. But her castle is pretty interesting because you meet almost all the monsters from the game, and the rooms are pretty mysterious and everything. I really lost myself in the castle a few times actually, and I was like, yo, map doesn't do shit, I just need help. She is actually my second favorite character. She is actually better than Mother Miranda, to be honest. And after you defeat Lady Dimitrescu, Ethan instead discovers a flask containing Rosemary's head. Duke explains that Mother Miranda had Rosemary separated into 4 different flasks. So, she has head, torso, arms and legs. Ethan started freaking out, of course, I mean, who wouldn't? However, it was possible to revive Rosemary if Ethan can recover the 3 other flasks from Beneviento, Moreau, and of course, ya boy, Heisenberg. Determined to save Rosemary, Ethan eliminates Beneviento, which was the worst thing I ever fucking saw. Like, what in the actual fuck was that? You remember that Comstock that I mentioned earlier? Yeah? Do you remember? Well, it began crawling, you know. It came to fucking life, that Comstock behind your bed, so check it before. That was the scariest shit ever. You see a fucking ginormous baby with a creepy voice track and everything. Like, what in the fucking hell was that? I don't even have weapons. I have only stupid, idiotic bed to hide. Like, what in the world was that? That was like some PT stuff actually. That was the worst thing in the whole game. That was such interesting the way they made kinda a horror story from Resident Evil games. I really like the way they did that. It made me shiver down my spine actually. It was so good. How's Beneviento and the doll and everything? I mean, the doll part was kinda shit, to be honest, but the baby part was like perfect. It was so perfect. I loved it. And after defeating the doll, you get another flask. And then you go straight to House Morrow. House Morrow, it was... I don't know how to explain it actually, because it was kinda short, and I wish House Morrow would be, kinda bigger and everything. I mean, the Salvatore Morrow was actually kinda weird character, and I loved him, and I just wish they kinda did a little bit more of him. He was so good. I really liked him. He was kinda nice actually. I kinda felt bad because he had to, I mean, not sacrifice, but nobody loved him. Not even Mother Miranda, nobody. And that's why I felt attached to him. I mean, so happy that he is not like all evil. He's just, retarded, and I hate him. But it's fine. They could do it pretty, a little bit better. But fuck it. The best is just to come. And then, of course, they had to do it. In House Morrow, the Salvatore Morrow wasn't even, like the best thing there. It was the Chris. The second time we see Chris in Resident Evil Village. Chris just didn't want to say anything. He just wanted Ethan to stay out of it. He just wanted. This is nothing you should worry about. And he just, vanishes like, what in the world was that? And Ethan just carelessly just goes away. And of course, after House Morrow, after putting the third flask, Ethan has to go. And he just goes, kill some enemies, gain some gold, go to Duke, buy some items, get some enemies more, and you just do that. So, after that, Ethan confronts Heisenberg in his factory, finally, where he plans a rebellion against Miranda. So Heisenberg isn't that kind of a, bad character, but he's the one that is a sword with double edge. You use it, but you get yourself cut, because Heisenberg wanted to use Rosemary as the weapon that he will destroy Mother Miranda. And when Ethan, as the protagonist he is, refuses his offer, he doesn't want to use Rosemary to kill Miranda. So Heisenberg refuses to give up his flask and attacks Ethan, pushes him down to Heisenberg's little pet. Like, what the fuck is that? Chainsaws are supposed to be used differently, but that's like a jet from a plane, holy moly. And after, walking through the Heisenberg's factory, and you destroy a lot of enemies and you make some stuff, and then you just find new enemies and things like that. And then you have to face Heisenberg's little pet. That thing that thing was like, pretty easy actually. Like Jack in the first game, when you did the chainsaw fight with him, it was not bad. I mean, it was pretty easy. You just had to wait, he will be stuck in the wall, and you just hit his ass, and that's pretty it. After you kill little Heisenberg's pet, you encounter no one other than Chris Redfield himself, and angrily Ethan confronts him over Mia's death. Chris reveals that the Mia he killed was a shape-shifting Mother Miranda posing as her to kidnap Rosemary, as Miranda has the same biokinetic abilities as Evelyn. When Chris attempted to kill Miranda to protect Ethan back in the beginning, he failed to realize that Miranda had faked her own death and escaped, taking Rosemary and crushing the truck transporting Ethan. Chris fixes some kind of weird makeshift tank. Ethan just takes some control of it and ultimately defeat Heisenberg. That fight kinda... that was hella weird. That was not Resident Evil type shit, but it had some elements from Resident Evil, but it was so weird and twisted and everything. So it was so fucking weird. And in the background you just see Chris destroying the Heisenberg's factory. Ethan is alone in the field. Chris is talking to him. And what do you hear? That's right, Mother Miranda. But Ethan thought it was Rosemary crying like a child. No, it was Mother Miranda. She arrived, boasting that she plans to take Rosemary as her own daughter before killing Ethan by ripping his heart out. Witnessing Ethan's death. It was... I actually cared a lot. I didn't think I would care about Ethan, but I cared a lot. It was harsh, actually. Chris just leads Special Forces squad to advance on Miranda and to rescue Rosemary. At the same time, Chris takes a scope from his teammate and he sees a BSAA assault force arriving to suppress Miranda. And then Chris heads to a cave underneath the village where he finds, sorry if I pronounced this wrong, but it was hella weird to listen to this shit, Megamycete something. The sources of the mold that birthed Evelyn and granted Miranda her powers. So you know the mold back in Louisiana? It came from here, not from there. Evelyn is from Europe. Yeah, she is from Europe. He planted the bomb on Megamycete and proceeds deeper into the caves where he finds Miranda's lab. And then, boom, Chris discovers that Miranda began experimenting with the Mutamycete mold over a century ago. It was so far away, like 10 years from then. Having seemingly gained immortality with the mold, in hopes of reviving her daughter, in hopes of reviving her long-lost daughter, Eva, who succumbed to the Spanish flu. She experimented on the villagers in hopes to find host for Eva, with the failed subjects resulting in the Lycans, the Four Lords, and the Evelyn. She ultimately found a suitable host with Rosemary, due to her special abilities inherited from Ethan and Mia. Miranda also mentored Oswald E. Spencer, who would go on to find the Umbrella Corporation. Chris finds and rescues in that same room where the laboratory is. He rescues Mia Winters. And then, bam, darkness. The Duke rescues and transports Ethan to a ritual site, where Ethan battles and defeats Miranda and rescues Rosemary. So the Duke is the champ here. He just comes and talks to Ethan. Even Ethan asks him, who the hell is he? And Duke says he doesn't even know who he is. So I'm really wondering who in the hell is he? Because he is so fucking... he's so interesting character. I really love him. After defeating Mother Miranda, Ethan's body begins to fail as his regenerative powers could no longer keep up with his injuries. Barely holding on to Rosemary and Chris by his side, Ethan has learned a lot, because when he is dead, he just sees Evelyn talking to him. You know, she's basically making fun of him and everything. She tells him that he died from right about this moment. Yeah, in Resident Evil 7, Ethan actually died. This is just his thoughts and molded people. He's just mold. Ethan is not a person, he's mold. And he somehow made a child. So you know, his life, it's kinda crazy. And barely attached to Chris, Ethan tells Chris to escape the village with the Rosemary and shares one last goodbye with her. Ethan, the champ, sacrifices himself to detonate the bomb planted in Megamycete, destroying it, and of course himself, and the village, and everything. As Mia mourns the loss of Ethan, Chris discovers in the same helicopter, plane, drone, whatever that is, it's something weird. Chris discovers the BSAA soldiers sent to the village were organic bioweapons. Seeking answers, Chris orders his squad to head for the BSAA's European headquarters. So BSAA could be making bioweapons, and actually they could be the whole different infected type stuff. They could make a new cure or a new type of disease where Chris could end it all. Many years later, after all that incidents, a young adult Rosemary visits Ethan's grave before being called away for a mission on this motherfucking bitch that called her Evelyn. It made me so fucking pissed off because Rosemary is molded, but she ain't Evelyn. She has the blood of molded, but she ain't Evelyn. She's just Rosemary. And she goes away in the car of an undisclosed organization. She's probably gonna work for Chris, and we are going to see her in the future, and maybe even Mia Winters, where Rosemary could be actually such an interesting character, and she could be the first bioweapon as the main protagonist. In conclusion, Resident Evil Village is a masterpiece. I have to say, I don't care if you agree or not, it is a masterpiece. It had his pros and cons and everything, but the main issue for me was that Ethan was surprised that everything is happening, but you know, Ethan, rest in peace my boy, you deserve it. He could have a normal life, but of course the Resident Evil is Resident Evil. Capcom is Capcom. They're gonna make things fucked up, and I really love how they made Chris a little bit better character than we expected. And the best part of the game, right here. The video is ending right here. You go. This was my favorite part of the game. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.
Mama Lordy! That boulder punching asshole! But you're first!